This video is gonna have uh, kind of two subject matters. I think I might make the second subject matter into its own video entirely, but we'll see. First of all, wow. Wow. Um, I saw the new movie out now that's called The Monkey. And I'll just tell y'all that I was actually very, very sick the last week, and it was one of the most unpleasant sicknesses of my life. So I'm finally feeling better, and my husband and I were like, okay, thank God I'm feeling better. Let's go be normal and go out and see a movie, right? So we were happy to go do that, right? I've really been looking forward to this movie called The Monkey. Okay, it's directed by Osgood Perkins. That's what I wanted to know. I wasn't fucking waiting for the credits for that information. But anyway, I really was waiting patiently for this movie because I saw the trailer and I thought it looked cool. Thought it looked interesting. I was like, oh, I would love to see that movie. Haunted monkey toy that kills people. I'm in. Let's go. I want to see it, right? This was the worst movie I've seen since Wolfman. And Wolfman came out a couple weeks ago. And that was also really surprisingly bad. However, going to the theater, I said to my husband, I was like, I hope it's better than Wolfman. I'm just in shock because I didn't think that a movie this bad could get made. Really, I didn't think it could happen, but here we are. Okay, so like I said, this movie's about a haunted monkey toy that someone comes in contact with, right? That someone comes in possession of, right? Interesting premise. The execution of this movie was complete and total trash. Everything about it was horrible. I was really struggling to think of. I was able to think of one or two things I actually liked about this movie, but wow, oh my God, it was so bad. Okay, let me tell you something and this has been happening lately with films in general, and shows kind of too, but more films, because everyone's been fucking up more with films lately, but I digress. So, there has been some kind of confusion about tone and genre, for that matter, okay? I assumed this movie was a horror movie, right? The Monkey. It really is under the horror genre. But started watching this movie. And I was like, fuck, is this a coming of age movie? Is this supposed to be a comedy? Because every death just about in the movie was a comedy. It was supposed to be like a joke punchline, to which I was like, God, I'm sorry. I'm having such a hard time articulating this because quite literally everything was bad. You know what? If you want to make a goofy black comedy about, this thing or even someone that's killing people and it's so funny when people die, lol, or whatever the fuck, okay, go ahead, then make it funny, make it humorous, make it entertaining. Three things which this movie was not. here's the thing, is that if you want to make a horror movie, or you want to make a coming of age movie, or you want to make a comedy, you have to set up that tone within the first act of the movie. All right? You can't just set up all three and then like pick and choose which you feel like doing. Yeah. Like, at the moment upon shooting. Like, my husband and I were talking about this movie after we watched it, and he was saying it was almost like the director said that the studio said, "Hey, dude, you know what? Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Just don't care. Change it as much as you want. If the actors feel like improvising and they want to do something, let them. We don't care." That's what this looked like. Okay? Okay. I'm going to attempt to tell you what this movie was about. Wow. Just look at the pedigree of the director. Oh my god, dude. I hope you did a lot of drugs, because that would explain why your brain was so fried you couldn't make a fucking proper movie. I digress. So, we've got these twin bros whose father had this monkey, but their father was dead, and it's not even explained why. However, it is discovered when the boys are in like middle school that one of them mechanically turns the key in the monkey, and it kills, I think it killed their mother. It killed someone. So he found out he had that power or whatever. And then but then he it was like fast forward. It was like first this to take place in 1999, and then it was like 25 years later. It's like, if you're gonna do that solely for the reason of establishing the timeline, cool, but it didn't fucking matter. If it doesn't fucking matter that it's starting in the year 1999, then don't fucking say that. Just say 25 years ago. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm making any sense here, but hey, then it would just be pretty similar to the actual movie itself. Okay, so one of the twins knows, and they don't get along. The twins totally fucking hate each other. And then it's established that they go live with someone else after the monkey kills their mother, and then a little bit even after that, it turned like 25 years later, where it didn't fucking matter. The dad, not the dad, sorry, the main character who we met before, suddenly he has a son, and then he's like, "I see my son 1 week per year." And then he was like all surprised Pikachu face that his ex-wife's husband was going to adopt the son, and he was like, "What, you?" In the movie, he was like, "What, you can't do this." It's like, bro, if you're a deadbeat and see your kid for 1 week out of 365 days of the year, I don't really think it would come as a shock to you that the stepdad would be adopting the child. I think that would be pretty relieving news for someone who's that big of a deadbeat. But he was like, also, fucking Elijah Wood was the stepfather for like one whole scene. He might have said 6 whole words. Movies are actually required to pay people more if they say a line that's more than 5 words. If you're an extra and you say a line that's 5 words or fewer, they'll still pay you the extra money, the what they would be paying for a stand-in extra wages to the person who says a line that's 5 words or less. Sorry, that's just how it works. I don't like it either. But that's why I think Elijah Wood said 6 words, because then they must have had to pay him more than what they would have had to pay an extra. And his character also was in this one scene, and then we never saw him again. And he was like barely mentioned again. So anyway, the deadbeat dad, like after 25 years, he's been estranged from his identical twin because they don't get along. But then they get back in touch or something, and he finds out it's having to do with the monkey. And by the way, the monkey kind of just kills like randomly. It's not really implied that the monkey is like sentient in any way, even though it turns out the other twin brother is like obsessed with the monkey because he pieced together the fact that his brother killed the mom by turning the monkey's key. Oh my god, I don't even want to tell you this. Because it's so fucking annoying to even reiterate. Okay, so yeah, the tone of this movie was off. It was off. It was right the fuck off. And it stayed right the fuck off because it was like trying to be a black comedy, but it wasn't funny at all. And it was also trying to be a horror. It's like you can't really like have your fingers in all those jars at once because it ain't gonna work. If you're some kind of fucking like master, I'm trying to think of something that's along those lines. Well, one of my favorite movies is Wristcutters: A Love Story, and that's a dark comedy. That's a movie about specifically about people who kill themselves and then they go to a specific afterlife only for people who kill themselves. It's hilarious. It's very dark and scary, but like it's a great movie and it's also hilarious and like it's good, unlike this movie. Anyway, I said at one point I wrote, it can't be sad or scary when the tone is already set to crappy, as it was. You know what? I'm tired of talking about this. I'm actually physically tired too. Listen, don't watch this movie. Please, like, do yourself and everyone a favor. Don't watch it. Actually, I will say something, which is, at one point, the main character, who was not likable, by the way, he had absolutely zero redeeming qualities about him. Like, there was nothing about him that was interesting. He's kind of good looking, but no, you don't even fucking care about that if he has zero redeeming qualities. He's a deadbeat idiot father. It just made no sense why we were even interested in watching him. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. I was about to say something, then I forgot what it was, but it's okay. Yeah, it made no sense. You can't just pick and choose whatever fucking genre you feel like shooting that day. Osgood Perkins. Sorry. But like, I don't even know how this got okayed by the studio. I don't really feel like looking into it, but anyway. This is the second subject I really wanted to get into here. And I really am wondering if I should just go ahead and make it a separate video because this subject matter is actually so serious and I don't really think anyone's going to have watched this long to see the actual point of this video, which is what I'm about to say. I am worried about film. I think I'm probably the most worried you can possibly be, because it's in like critical condition right now. It might even be terminal right now. I don't like admitting that. I've been in denial about that for a long time. But that's what's going on. I don't like Marvel movies. They are not my thing. They have never been my thing. The only superhero movie I am obsessed with is the Christopher Nolan Batman franchise, which has been over for quite a while now. It'll be, oh my god. No, it's only been like 13 years, but that's a while, right? That's the only superhero movie I really like and love and watch all the time. I don't like Marvel movies, but the new Captain America movie would have been a better choice for me to have seen than The Monkey. Like, at least I know for a fact with that movie, there would have been a good guy going after a bad guy. There would have been some fighting there, obviously, or some power imbalance, some problems, right? And then there would have been some character development by the end of the movie. 3 things which were not in The Monkey. I really am worried about film. I'm deathly worried about it, because it is in fact deathly ill. And it scares me a lot, because I just cannot imagine my life without movie theaters and without seeing movies in a theater. I really can't. But when a movie like The Monkey comes along, you can't help but wonder if it's gonna survive. You know, there were so many attempted jokes in this movie, and a bunch of the people I saw it with were actually young folk, and I was actually kind of annoyed by them, because like I was like, oh sweet, like there were like 3 parties including me and my husband. I was like, oh sweet, you know, like we're gonna have the theater almost all to ourselves. And then it basically filled up within the first like 5 minutes of the movie. There were probably 25 people there total, maybe 30. But like, and then I'm usually annoyed when it's young folk, honestly, because they don't know how to fucking act in a movie theater, but I digress. They were actually being fine. They were being respectful, but like there were 0 laughs. Like every time there was a joke, I was like, I would even say it kind of loudly, because I'm more entertaining than the movie at this rate, right? I would be like, okay, that was a joke. 'Cause it's not fucking funny. Like, they didn't laugh one time. There was maybe one time where people were kind of like, that was it. 0 laughs, 0 laughter. People weren't even like really caring about like the attempted suspense put on the screen, because all of it was so insensitive. And this is exactly why people are like, I don't want to go all the way. I'm not going all the way to the movie theater to pay, $20 to watch a piece of shit movie when I can stay at home and watch a cool show, an hour-long show that's going to be a better use of my time. I can watch 3 episodes of an hour-long show that's going to be a better use of my time and is going to have better story development and plot and everything that a movie likely doesn't. I really don't like talking about this. I'm upset right now making this video because I have to talk about this. You know what? My husband and I watched fucking Lilo and Stitch the other day. And within the first 2 minutes of the movie, really, seriously, I was crying. Okay? I wasn't even crying because of the various, plot development that happens within the first 2 minutes of Lilo and Stitch. I was crying because I was like remembering how intentional movies used to be made, how intentionally they used to be made, how much feeling was put into that, how serious people were about that medium, and they still are. They still are. We've got some people out there who are still, faithful and know what they're doing. I recently saw this movie called Companion, by the way. My love. I saw you in the credits and I'm so proud. Miss you and love you. It was a great movie. I was really, really pleasantly surprised by that movie. I was so happy I saw it. I was expecting something entirely different, but I got something even fucking million times better than what I expected out of it. And it was really good. And, but like, how often does that happen? Almost never. Like, the last time I saw a movie that I liked that much was probably Megan, and that came out like 3 or 4 years ago now. We're getting the second Megan, which, cool, but like, I am heartbroken. I'm worried. I'm sad. How trash movies are now, for the most part. I really am. It's a problem. And this is another part that I don't want to say, but I'm going to say it. More often than not, when I go see a movie, if it's crowded, and I'm not talking about, put aside the Thanksgiving or Christmas time blockbuster we get, right? Those 2 times a year we get, maybe one in the summer as well. Forget about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your average movie-going experience. You got less than 9 people in the theater more often than not. Got less than, I would say average times I go to the theater, I'm one of maybe 5 people, sometimes 3, sometimes 1 in the audience. Okay? That's a problem. That's a problem. And I'm really at a loss here because I really thought that studios cared about their clientele. And I mean, that's changing a little bit because we have things like Angel Studios, they're coming up, I know for a fact that they care. So good for them, but they're not a Hollywood studio. They're becoming a bigger time, production company and a studio in their own right. But I'm like, you're telling me that all of these fucking veteran studios, Warner Brothers, Disney, who the fuck else is there? Sony, I guess Fox isn't around anymore. I don't fucking care. You know who I mean, okay? All of them just don't care. They don't care enough to get booties in the theater. They don't care enough to make halfway decent original movies. That's why all of them are banking so hard on all these fucking goddamn reboot, remakes, regurgitated shit. I don't know what to say. I don't know where we go from here. I am always kind of you know, an optimist to a fault, but like I'm legitimately worried here. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.